everybody! Live na po tayo ngayon. Welcome to our What's Up Doc Live. We are going to talk about the food pyramid at kung paano po ito ang naging rason kung bakit tayo maraming sakit ngayon. So, what we are going to tackle about is about the food pyramid and how it made us sick. For those of you who are currently watching, please let me know in the comment section if nandito na po kayo so that we will know kung nandyan kayo. And of course, if you have questions, if you are watching live, drop a comment so that I'll know that you are there. Yung ating pong time slot is moved earlier because we will have a family dinner tonight. And so, thank you pa din for always tuning in, for always still being here kahit po nag-iba yung time natin. Of course, we have Aljan, Brigitta, and Ray. Maraming salamat for always watching. Noridek, Marilyn, hello. Thank you so much. So, dumadami na tayo. Hello, Kenanaya Marie. Hello, Jill. Maraming salamat. Our topic again is the food pyramid at bakit tayo nagkasakit because of the food pyramid itself. Hello, Rochelle. Hello, Rowena. Hello, Shaijen. Hello, Janice. Maraming salamat po. I'm glad naka-join ka nga. I'm sure yung iba nating mga mga usual viewers medyo wala ngayon because it's earlier than usual. We are 2 hours earlier than our usual time slot. But I am glad that you are all here. So we have Doc Brian. Good afternoon po. We have Roslyn, Mark, Rufina, and Pinky. Nandyan po si Onyx Girl kasi may nag-doorbell. So, sige, tingnan natin kung merong sasagot dyan. Hello, Kalapi. Hello, Pinky. Good afternoon. So, our topic for tonight is about the food pyramid and how it made us sick. Come here, Onyx Girl. Come here. Down. Sige. So, thank you so much from Jackie and Sydney from Abu Dhabi, Demi, and Forteza. Tama ba? Cezlyn Forteza, Tammy. Thank you so much. So, yung topic natin, the food pyramid. Anong itsura ng food pyramid? Yung nakasanayan natin. Can you remember kung ano yung nakasanayan nating food pyramid? So, usually, nice time slot, sabi ni Janice. Oo, no? So, we really vacated our time ngayon for an earlier time slot. So, I'm glad you like it. But so far, titingnan natin. But I think our usual talaga is at 6 o'clock. But we will see. So, now, moving on to our topic, tingnan natin kung... So, this is the usual food pyramid, no? So, ano yung pinakamalaking bulk? Okay? So, yes, Elise, naka 4 p.m. live tayo. Go, grow, and glow. Sige. So, the go, grow, and glow. And also, eto yon. So, they usually divided it into bulk. Kung ano yung parang pinakamalaking mag-o-occupy ng iyong plate as to quantity sa dami, and also the quality, the type, and also in bulk or in calories. So, nakikita natin, we have the carbohydrates at the bottom. So, yun po, eto, pasensya nyo na yung drawing natin. It's the bread. This is corn. This is pasta or noodles or bihon or sotanghon or pansit. Okay? Kasi that is somewhat one of our staples as Filipinos. And of course, we have the rice. So, all of these are in the lower bulk. Ito lang yung nilagay, but of course, kasama dito others like oatmeal, okay? Pandesal. What else? Ano yung usual na kinakain nating carbohydrates? Usually, meron talaga tayo. And for other countries na hindi masyadong ma-rice, usually nasa ano sila, mga noodles o di kaya mga pasta, spaghetti, or even root crops like potato, mashed potato, boiled potato, and all those. But for our nakasanayang food pyramid, okay, it is the grains that is at the bottom. So, if you are part of the low-carb con, I think Dr. Brian Castillo emphasized on the Pinggang Pinoy. And I think that was also what we've discussed, no, a few weeks ago with Coach Dave Aguila. I think that was a week ago. Thank you, Elise, for the compliment. And yes, kape at pandesal, breakfast ng Pinoy, kamote, patatas. Tamang-tama po yan. So, that actually comprises about 33% ng usual na kinakain. So, kapag 33% yan sa iyong plato, okay, so ano yung next na 30%? It is actually recommended na magkakaroon ka rin ng another 30% coming from this one, which is the vegetables. And kasama po, unlike us in low carb, Now, with our vegetables, we classify them as green leafy or non-starchy vegetables and starchy vegetables. Dito, wala. They are all in there. So, magkakasama dyan yung mga lahat ng madahon, lahat ng root crops like, say for example, your carrots, mga tomato, eggplant, ampalaya, all of those, beans, peppers, lahat ng yon nandito. And they're also comprising another 33% of our food, no? So 33% dito, 33%. So that is already actually 2/3 ng pagkain na sinasuggest sa atin. Ito yung kinalakihan natin. Sino dito yung nag-aral sa mga mababang paaralan na merong linggo ng wika and of course merong nutrition month? Ano ba yung nutrition month? August ba? Tama ba? Is it August or July? Hindi ako sigurado. So I hope it is around this time. At sana, no, if we have teachers here, kahit wala tayong magagawa dahil there is this order from up above, no, from way above our pay grade na nagsasabi na magti-teach tayo na ganito. But I hope you can slowly start educating the children na hindi po kanin, hindi po carbohydrates ang only source of energy. But yun lang yung pinakamadali kumbaga. But it's not really the healthiest kind and we will know why later. Hello, Mang Gigi! Kasi si Gigi last time absent nakatulog na sobrang sa melatonin. Anyway, with the next one is the fruits. So the fruits is said to comprise 17%. And the remaining 17%, so eto, wala rin tong classification. Kasi with us in low-carb nutrition, we classify fruits as either high-carb fruits or low-carb fruits. But for this one, wala. Lahat ng prutas. So, kahit banana, apple, grapes, at kung ano-ano pang prutas. And yung nakasanayan nga natin is yung ating fruits, yung pinakamatamis, yun lang yung masarap. Yung Pinoy, grabe ka choosy sa fruits yan, especially if you're coming from Mindanao. It is because it's very abundant in our place at mataas yung standard natin. What is matamis and all that, no? Pero sa totoo lang, those qualities na medyo choosy tayo, pinipili natin yung pinakamatamis talaga, yung pinakahinog. Those are the little things na nakakontribute din kung bakit tayo nagkaroon ng mga sakit na meron tayo ngayon. And so, meron pang remaining 17%. So, ano yung remaining 17%? So, it is the meat. Usually, yung mga ulam is nasa 17% lang. Okay? So, dito, milk and dairies, tsaka oil, medyo optional lang sila. O di kaya, pinapa-avoid talaga altogether. But they are there. So, since they are the ones on top, they are negligible. Pwedeng nandyan, pwedeng wala. Okay? Thank you for confirming. July is the nutrition month. And this is our July episode dedicated for Nutrition Month. I hope, no, kung meron man makakapanood from the DOH, from the DepEd na who will try to look into the evidence. Kahit hindi na sila maniwala sa akin, but they can try to look at the evidence themselves and they will see na yung nakasanayan natin na diet, nakasanayan natin food pyramid is not really the best kind of guidelines kumbaga. Because following this food pyramid, mababait ng Pinoy. Madali tayong sumunod kung ano yung sinabi sa atin. Especially when we were young, no? Yun talaga sinusunod natin. But ano yung nangyari? We followed it for years. We followed it for decades. And ano yung nangyayari? We end up somewhat the same unless we really change something. We end up having diabetes. Yung iba tumataba, nagiging obese. Yung iba hindi naman tumataba yung buong katawan. Tumataba lang yung tiyan. Yung iba nagkakaroon ng high blood kahit payat. Merong fatty liver kahit halos butot balat. Okay? O di kaya iba, merong psychological problems. Madaling nasa stress, madaling nagpapanik, madaling kinakabahan. Those are still byproduct of inflammation na iba't iba yung tinitira. Iba't iba yung parts sa ating katawan na apektado. The trigger will be the same similarly, pero how it will manifest bawat isa sa kada tao will differ from person to person. Sinasabi na meron tayong mga familial diseases like diabetes, like high blood. halos wala atang tao sa Pilipinas na walang pamilyang may hypertension o di kaya diabetes. And usually, kung titingnan mo, hindi yan nandyan forever. Like, from their lolo, lola, grandparents, walang ganyan. Nagsimula sa kanilang parents lang. And it's because of the presence of this food pyramid. This food pyramid was just promoted the last 50 years, okay? At most, no? So, yung mga lolo, lola actually natin na nasa 70s, 80s, if you ask them kung ano yung kinakain talaga nila way before, no? Nung una pa, walang masyado, maybe they have rice, but walang masyadong tinapay. Walang masyadong mga noodles, mga pansit, no? And they eat a lot of vegetables. And of course, their source of ulam would be fish, eggs, dairies, kalabaw, manok, no? Pork. They are all eating that. But because of, yes, no? Sabi nga ni Coach Elise, it's because of family's traditional way of eating na nagkakaroon tayo ng familial diseases. Okay? Hindi lang ito dahil sa genes, but it's also highly affected by our habits. Hindi po nasa genes, but nasa plato. Okay? Pinag-usapan na natin yan, but this is the Pinggang Pinoy in Food Pyramid. So, ano yung problema sa food pyramid na ito? So, the problem with this food pyramid is that it is too much carbohydrates. Okay? Too much carbohydrates. Yung bottom, no? If you will compute, no? 66 plus 17. Okay? Ilan na yan? Mga around 83, ganyan. So, 83% is coming from carbohydrates. Yun yung ina-advise sa atin na kumain tayo. No wonder na kapag nagsasaing ang isang pamilyang may 4 na anak at mama at saka papa, sasaing sila ng mga 1.5 rice at ano yung ulam nila? Kahit ano lang. Kahit dried fish, okay? O di kaya noodles, o di kaya sardinas, okay? Because wala talagang nagbibigay halaga sa ulam, which is, ulam is 17%. At yung ginagawa pa nito, sardinas, alam nyo ba na yung sa isang sardinas, ilang bang proteins yan? If meron kayo dyan, can you check kung ilan yung proteins? I doubt if it will reach 50 grams of pure proteins, no? Yung isda, konti lang po yung kanyang net weight, no? Net protein in grams. So, kakaunti talaga yan. No wonder na ang mga Pinoy, okay, among other countries na kumakain din ng ibang carbohydrates, is one of those na maliliit yung build, okay? Yung average height dito, nasa 5 to 5'5 lang, okay? And that is not our genes, but it is our way of eating. Because when we grow up, especially the children, habang tumatagal, hindi po building blocks ng growth ang carbohydrates, okay? In fact, kapag ang isang bata ay nasusobrahan ng pagkain ng puro carbohydrates lang at walang protina, ay magiging malnourished ito. Ito yung tawag nating kwashiorkor, malnutrition. Ito yung mga bata na kung titingnan mo ay ang cute-cute, no? Usually, sad to say, you can see them in really deprived areas na ang tataba. Okay? Ang tataba, ang cute-cute, but at saka hindi sila fussy. Sometimes they are well-behaved, but they are well-behaved to a point na yung totoo pala nun, they are already somnolent. Parati silang halos tulog because they are undernourished. And what makes them cute, no? Yung parang mataba, yung chubby, is already edema. Okay? So that edema or water retention is already because wala ng proteins na nag-hold sa water. Because usually, the proteins will be inside our bloodstream, nasa dugo natin, and it will allow, no, na it will hold the water inside. Also within our cells. But kapag wala itong proteins, it will easily swell. Mas lumulobo ito. And then we are presented with children who are either stunted yung growth, no? O hindi talaga, or malnourished. So either super payat, o yung iba, hindi man ganun kapayat, pero pandak para sa kanilang edad. Okay? So, in simpler terms, that's it. So, we have Ling Marapaw, my Smart scale tells me I am low in protein, so I am increasing intake of it. Yes, tama po yan. Even I myself, no, during the last challenge that we did, yung alternate day fasting and yung ano namin, DCR protocol, dry, clean, and dry, clean, and feeding, refeeding protocol namin, doon lang ako actually naging normal in my proteins, in my muscle mass. Because for the longest time, yung muscle mass ko din is kakaunti. Because that in that way, no, you can see how we are shaped sa nakasanayan nating way na pagkain na hindi talaga maulam and more on rice, more on the bulk. And true enough, kahit pa naka low carb na tayo, pero minsan mahirap pa rin i-convince yung sarili natin na kumain ng maraming ulam. That's why I have patients na nagsasabi nga, Doc, kasi kakaunti, kalahati lang yung desired na protein na sinasabi mo, hindi pa ako nakakalahati, ay busog na ako. Okay? That is how we got our body used to it. So, marami namang techniques dyan. We discussed that last Monday, pero yung isang idea dyan is, if you want to maximize your protein, if you want to prioritize your protein, then unahin mo munang kainin yung proteins mo. Okay? If meron kang gulay, if meron kang protein sa iyong plate, try to eat the proteins first. And then, so that, para yung makakain mo is really nutrient dense, protein rich. Especially for those na mas nangangayayat, mas pumapayat. Okay? Yung scale ko, high protein ako, need ko ba bababaan o konti lang? Okay? So, tingnan natin, Aljun. We don't know how high is high, but generally, kung ganyan, you also need to check your body fat percentage. Okay? Kasi kung sa lalaki, if you are already, wala na talagang fats, okay? You could be high in protein in quantity. That could be an athletic build. Okay? So, it should be paired up with physical activity then. So, there's no problem really with high protein when it comes to your body composition. Okay? Body composition that is high in protein only means you have high muscle mass or high amount of lean body mass, and it is considered to be protective from stress and others. So, going back to our ating nakasanayang food pyramid, ito actually is the major cause of our problem, yung bulk nito. Okay? So, we can go from down to up. So, going here, no, ito yung pinopromote. So, it is somewhat saying that this food is like okay to be eaten unlimited amounts of time. Okay? So, napaka-unlimited nito. So, that's why people will tend to eat a lot of this. We have a lot of testimonials na nung bata, binibigyan ng isang pirasong maliit na isda at isang gabundok na rice. Tapos, sinasabi, kapag subo ng ulam, kain agad. 5 hanggang 7 subo ng kanin, no? Just to maximize the meat. And of course, we understand that this idea is mostly related to economy. Kasi nga, nung unang panahon, Filipinos are generally under colonization. Alam naman natin yan sa history na yan. And sad to say, we were taught in the idea na kailangan tayong magtrabaho the whole day. And since it's so hard for us to keep on working nang walang kinakain, we were brainwashed with the idea na kumain tayo ng maraming kanin because ang pagkain ng kanin ay makapagbibigay sa atin ng energy, and of course, yung totoo dyan, yung kanin ay mas mura as compared to meat. Okay? And so, it was passed on. At kahit pa yung may mga ninuno dito na farmer at ngayon ay mga asyendero at asyendera na at may-ari na ng ilang ektaryang lupain, but their way of eating is still similar to that of our mga ninuno na ninuno in just the recent century, which is sanay na sanay sa kanin. Okay? And if you can see, we have leaders right now in the country na sumasakit yung dibdib ko kung titingnan sila, that they are eating a lot of rice. Meron pa pangang isa, nag-celebrate ng birthday na rice yung birthday cake, no? Although it was a sign of humility, but of course, it is also a sign of lack of education when it comes to nutrition. Okay? So, nakakalungkot. Why? Bakit gusto natin pababaan ang pagkain nito? Because the moment that you eat carbohydrates, the moment na nagre-rely ka sa pagkain ng carbohydrates in the form of kanin, pandesal, mais, patatas, at kung ano-ano pa, pansit, no? Kahit vegetable pansit pa yan, kahit yung mga veggie bihon, all of that, because all of those are still starch. Maraming ganyan malunggay or kalabasa noodles, yung mga ganyan, those are still starch, kahit iniiba pa ang pangalan. Okay? The problem with that is it will make us eat more of it. Kasi yung carbohydrates, hindi siya sustainable source of energy. When you rely on carbohydrates as form of energy, process yan. So, carbs, no? We just make it clear. Baka meron tayong mga new viewers dyan if you share this video. So, yung carbs, nagiging glucose yan. Okay? And yung glucose, ito yung ginagamit na energy ng ating katawan. And our glucose should be maintained from 70 to 100. Okay? So, every time tataas yan kapag kumain tayo nito, your body will try its best to lower it down to baseline. Okay? So, ano yung mangyayari? Gugutumin ka na naman ulit. So, that's why halos every 1 to 3 hours, no? Yung iba nga halos every hour ginugutom. So, that's why every 1 to 3 hours, pagkatapos mong kumain ng tinapay, pagkatapos mong kumain ng kanin, ay gugutumin ka na naman ulit. Okay? And it's not your fault, but it is just what it is. Yun lang talaga yung biochemistry ng ating kanin. Yung hindi natin alam is that kung hindi pala sana tayo mag-depend in carbohydrates as source of energy. Say for example, dito tayo. So yung mga pinapa-avoid sa atin, which is yung taba, no? Yung fats. Actually, ang hindi nila alam, when we rely more on fats as our energy, either fats coming from our food or the fats na galing sa ating katawan na naimbak natin because of too much carbs, okay, ay mas sustainable ito. Okay? Fats is considered as long-term, okay? Long-term source of energy. Ito yung mas nakasanayan talaga ng ating katawan by genetics, ha? Long-term source. Okay? That's why you just become surprised kapag naging fat adapted na kayo, kapag nasanay na kayo sa low carb na way of eating, you will just surprise yourself na kahit isang beses ka lang kumakain, ay hindi ka mayat-maya nagugutom. Yung cravings nyo sa tamis, yung cravings nyo sa kanin, yung cravings nyo sa tinapay, ay biglang nawawala. In a matter of 2 to 3 weeks, wala na yan. So, it might seem like a surprise, no? Parang miracle, especially para sa atin na mga mahilig kumain. But, with this, only you can see na it's just biochemistry at works. Wala itong hocus-pocus. And wala itong exemption unless meron kang very rare na sakit. Pero generally, this is how the human body works. So, the problem with this, no? Carbs and glucose, ano yung tumataas? Alam na to ng mga natin regular followers, alam niyo na tong lahat. You can also try to answer in the comment section if you know the answer. Yung panay na pagtaas ng carbs and glucose leading to, ano nga yung tataas? Anong hormone na tataas? I'm sure you know the answer. So, if you know the answer, try to put it in the comment section. Ano yung hormone na tumataas kapag panay tayong kumakain ng carbohydrates? Hello, Doc Shira, my love. Magsa-study na kami ni Doc Shira next week. May assignment ako sa kanya. So, ngayon, ito muna pag-uusapan natin. Okay? So, carbs, glucose will lead to increase in, insulin. Okay? So, yung insulin, alam natin na pinapababa niya yung glucose natin sa ating katawan. But what we don't know, okay, is yung insulin pala ay hindi siya free from side effects. Okay? Yung insulin, hindi siya pwedeng panay na nandyan. Because we are not built to have insulin na always nakasecrete, no? In fact, yung continuous insulin secretion, ito yung considered na isa sa mga rason kung bakit marami tayong sakit. Continuous insulin secretion will lead to insulin resistance. At kapag meron ng insulin resistance, dyan nalalabas yung fatty liver, yung pagtaas ng triglycerides, yung pananakit ng katawan, the inflammation in your body, and even your hypertension. So, akala natin yung pagtaas ng BP natin ay related lang sa pagkain ng taba o pagkain ng mga alat. But we now know, especially I would like to say hi, no? Especially sa graduates ng ating hypertension masterclass, alam nyo na ngayon na yung hypertension pala ay hindi lang dahil sa pagkain ng asin o sobrang dami ng tubig sa katawan o di kaya ay hindi na nagpo-function yung kidney mo. But hypertension is an overcompensation. No? Overcompensation ito, or also known as the hyper-response, no? Hyper-response ng inyong katawan, it's the innate immunity, kumbaga. It's yung natural lang talaga na gagawin nyo ng katawan mo to compensate for the inflammation. Kasi yung inflammation pala, nakaka-result siya sa pag-relax ng ating blood vessel, and it results into lowering of blood vessel. At kapag na-lower ito ng ating katawan, it will send signal sa ating brain, no, na, uy, bakit bumabagsak yung BP natin? Kaya siya nag-trigger ng cascade leading to hypertension. Pinapahold niya yung ating kidneys ng water at ng asin, yung ating blood vessels pinapakontract, yung ating puso pinapapump ng malakas. So, all of those are just reaction of our body because of inflammation. So, even if umiinom ka ng gamot para mapababa yung iyong blood pressure, pero kapag hindi mo inaalis yung trigger inside, no, the primary trigger, that is inflammation, ay hindi pa rin yan mawawala. That's why sa mga pasyente na kahit pa very religious in taking their hypertensive medications, sinusunod lahat ng sinasabi, at lahat ng gamot na iniinom, every time na magpapakonsulta, after 3 months, after 6 months, yung gamot nyo ay either dadagdagan, o di kaya i-change into different form, o di kaya magiging dalawa, or minsan tataasan yung dose. Because all of those medications are just symptomatic relief. Yung ina-address lang niya is just the symptoms. Yung symptoms lang, pero hindi po yung root cause, which is inflammation. So, this food pyramid somewhat leads to that. It's because of too much insulin. Kung meron man one-liner na masasabi yung food pyramid na go, grow, and glow para sa atin, ito ay isang insulin pyramid. Okay? So, kung papangalanan natin siya, it is actually an insulin spiking pyramid. Also, I would like to say thank you sa mga nakabasa na ng libro natin. This is in our appendix, no? So, this is actually what we label as insulin spiking, no? Nakakapag-spike o nakakapagpataas na ating insulin sa katawan. So, this is an insulin spiking food pyramid. Kasi, yun naman talaga yung totoo. Kahit pa merong kumontra nito, we cannot, if you go against this idea, you are actually going against basic biochemistry, unless you might want to review your basic biochemistry. I'm not sure kung ano yung ginagamit na libro ng iba, but we have Harper's here and we have Devlin as a source of our basic biochemistry. And it says that carbohydrates, specifically resulting to increase in blood sugar, leads to insulin spike. So, tingnan nyo naman yung bolt na ito. So, ang kailangan nating ma-appreciate is hindi lang po matatamis ang nakakapagpataas ng blood sugar. It is because yung harina, yung grains, yung noodles, yung spaghetti, yung pansit, birthday pansit, yung palabok, ano pa ba? Yung kakanin, that is also made of rice, no? Malagkit na rice. The rice per se, kahit anong kulay pa, as emphasized by our in-house scientist, Lazo, kahit anong kulay pa ng rice, it is still carbohydrates. The darker the rice, the higher the fiber content, but it is irrelevant in a way kapag sobra din yung kinakain na leading to increasing in blood glucose level. Okay? So, importante po na alam natin that this food will spike your insulin. Okay? And how about this one? 33% of vegetables. Sa totoo lang, okay lang naman sana yan. Only if wala na to. Pero, the problem with this signal, we have seen a lot of patients coming in with cancer, coming in with unknown na mga kung ano-anong sakit, autoimmune diseases, at ano yung kinakain nila. Hindi sila kumakain ng karne, halos hindi sila kumakain ng itlog. Yung kinakain nila, panay gulay, panay prutas, but ang kasama ay kanin sa umaga, tinapay in the middle of the morning, kanin na naman sa lunchtime, nagkakaroon ng kamote o di kaya saging sa hapon, at kanin naman sa gabi. So, they are actually not wrong in a sense because they are just following what was advised, which is to eat all of that. And they are eating somewhat like that. More than 2/3 of their meal. Tapos, kung lalagyan mo pa ng fruits, no? They are actually following that. 83% ng kanilang kinakain. Okay? 4/5, 4 parts of 5, puro carbohydrates. And hindi mo sila, you cannot blame them. You cannot blame all of those people na hindi naniniwala dito because yun nga ang sinasabi. It's been supported by the higher ups. It's been supported by industries, both private and public na organizations. So, fina-follow lang nila ito. But I'm sure you are way more than that because you are here. So, maraming salamat and hi to all of you. Almost 300 watching us live ngayon. So, alam natin that we can do better than this. Yung isang problem nito dito, although it is emphasizing yung pinaka sinasabi na nila that this is healthy just because it is high in fiber. And it is high in vitamins and minerals in the form of vegetables and fruits, no? Pero, the problem with that, you can actually get the vitamins and minerals and fiber even without the insulin spike. Pero, kapag fina-follow mo itong pyramid na ito, you will get vitamins and minerals but together with too much insulin and also too much energy in the form of calories. So, in many research, no, relating to cancer, yung nakita nila is too much carbohydrates and too much energy, total energy intake. At yung pagkakaroon ng ganong idea sa pagkain will lead to the many of our problems. What else is wrong in here? Okay? What's wrong in here is this one. 17%. Sobrang kakaunti po ng 7% for your proteins. Okay? 17%, hindi mo marireach yung inyong daily protein requirement, especially if you are active. Kung nakahiga ka lang at wala kang ginagawa, you will still need about 0.8 to 1 gram per kilogram of your body weight. Okay? So, 17 grams of protein, no? Especially na hindi pa specify dyan if it is the gross weight or net weight. Okay? So, that alone can give you the confusion. Kung 17% ay makakakain ka lang ng kung by proportion, like isang hiwa ng buntot ng bangus, you can say that is enough. At yun yung nakasanayan natin. Kumain tayo ng isang hiwa ng bangus sa isang kainan, enough na. Pero, kasama nito ang sobrang rice. And of course, no, that idea is multiplied by 3. Kasi, minimum ng 3 times a day kumakain yung Pinoy. Yung definition natin, if you ask a normal Filipino, an average Filipino, na hindi naka-low carb ha, kasi biased na, especially yung mga members ng Life Without Rice and Low Carb Feasting and Fasting Community, hindi kasama dito sa average Filipino. If you ask the average Filipino kung ano yung definition nila, kung paano mabuhay ng sapat lang, they will tell you, kapag nakakain kami ng 3 beses sa isang araw. Okay? And it gives me mixed emotions, knowing na they strive every day just to eat 3 times a day, and what they are eating are also the same things that will make them sick in the long run. And they will eventually work hard and even harder, at yung iba nangungutang na, and they will really end up, yung iba lubog na lubog sa utang, just so they can continue to buy their medicine. And yung pinaka malungkot dyan, yung gamot nila ay mas mahal pa sa pagkain nila. When only if they know that they don't need to rely on grains, on carbohydrates as a source of energy. Kayang-kaya pa lang mabuhay kahit 2 beses lang sa isang araw kumain. O kahit nga 1 beses lang kumain sa isang araw. Okay? You can mix OMAD and TMAD in a week. Maybe 3 times a week naka-OMAD ka. 4 times a week naka-TMAD ka. Or if you are still in the phase of losing weight, you can go on with OMAD indefinitely kung gusto mo. Okay? So, that can be it. Depende yan kung ano yung goal mo and kung ano yung reaction ng body mo with your current eating schedule. So, this is way too much proteins. Ang sobrang konti ng proteins is leading to less muscle mass. And kapag less yung muscle mass mo, your capacity to endure stress, your capacity to fight infection, your capacity to sustain, no, to go over a day na pagod ay mas mataas if you have high muscle mass. Okay? But if you have low muscle mass, ang dali-dali mong magkasakit. Ang dali-dali mong magkasipon, ang dali mong sipunin, ang dali mong magka-allergy. Kapag konting may umubo lang na bata sa harap mo, mamaya ikaw na yung nilalagnat. Okay? O di kaya kapag na scratch ka lang ng kaunti, it heals so long. Sobrang tagal mag-heal ng mga sugat. Those are just little signs of protein deficiency. Yung skin na very dry, o di kaya nagkakaroon ng scaling, okay? Falling hair, that is usong-uso sa mga naglo-low carb, but takot pa rin kumain ng karne, kasi nga nakastack pa rin sila sa food pyramid, okay? Nag-hair fall because those are nutrient deficiency. Hindi tumutubo yung nails, those are signs of nutrient deficiency. Halos hindi na nagpupupo, those are nutrient deficiency. So all of those are becoming problematic. And the last part that is wrong in here is this. Yung oil and yung dairies, cheese and dairies are somewhat limited. Hindi na nila nilalagay. Kung pwede nga lang, ginagawa nila, incidental. Hindi siya pinaplano. So what happens to that is actually we become deficient with the vitamins that are related to fat-soluble vitamins. So, ano nga yung mga fat-soluble vitamins natin? I'm sure alam nyo yan. Medyo may lag si Facebook eh. So, kindly answer kung ano yung mga 4 na vitamins na fat-soluble. Kanina, tamang-tama, grabe-grabe, kahit si Coach Romel sumagot ng insulin. Ang galing-galing talaga. So, ano yung ating fat-soluble vitamins? Yes, we actually have this, the ADEK, no? A, D, E, and K, okay? Vitamin A, alam natin, for our vision, kaya marami sa atin, no? Batang-bata pa, may problema na sa paningin. Vitamin D, also very important in immunity, in bone metabolism. Kaya ang dami sa atin, mga mami, kaka-menopause pa lang, ay halos may osteoporosis na. Ay nako, vitamin E, merong mga skin problems, maraming skin diseases, ang tagal mag-heal kapag nasugatan. Vitamin K, these are bleeding disorders, okay? So, even absence of this, meron po mga microbleeding sa ating katawan na supposedly dapat madali itong mag-heal. But with inefficient these ones, no? Hindi talaga natin mag-achieve yung optimum health, okay? So, this food pyramid, okay? This insulin spiking food pyramid will lead us into having deficiencies in these vitamins. What else? Metabolic problems. Like, anong paborito natin? Diabetes. Okay? Kaya yun yung number 1 natin na masterclass. Sa mga hindi pa nakasali ng masterclass, it is open for admission po. Diabetes. Okay? Hypertension, high blood. What else? Even tumor formation. Tumors and of course, even cancers, allergy. Okay? Familiar ba ito lahat? Familiar to lahat kasi ito yung common dito sa Pilipinas. At ito rin, of course, dahil ito rin common yung kinakain natin dito. So, it's just expected. Oo, Coach Jean, adek ka na. Maraming salamat for answering. Okay? And the saddest part is, kapag na-diagnose ka na with these foods, no? What is the usual advice? What is the usual advice? It's actually to eat the same. Parang pinapastricto lang nila ito. So, ginagawa lang nilang yung tinapay, pinispecify lang, naging whole grain, wheat, okay? Yung kanin, ginagawa lang brown or red, pero kanin pa din yun. Yung pansit, ewan ko anong yung pinapa-replace ang pansit. Akala hindi ko nga narinig before na pinagbawalan yan eh. Sasabihin lang parate, just eat in moderation. Yung mais, no? Kino-consider pang superior than rice, okay? And of course, somewhat it is more high in fiber than rice. But kung gusto nyo pong gumaling is we can actually live kahit wala na ito. Okay? Kahit wala na yan. Hindi natin yan kailangan. Mabubuhay tayo kahit wala yan. These are considered as non-essential. Okay? Dietarily speaking, non-essential. Anong ibig sabihin ng dietary non-essential? Ibig sabihin, hindi natin ito kailangan kainin because yung byproduct niyang, ano nga yung byproduct nito? Glucose, okay? Ay kayang-kayang gawin ng ating liver sa paraan ng gluconeogenesis. So, our body is capable of producing this through the process that what we call as gluconeogenesis. Yung importante lang is you eat enough of this. Yung pinagbabawal actually, which is the proteins and fats. Okay? So, for our masterclass graduates and part ng ating community and of course, no, yung nakasali sa low carb con, alam nyo na this food intake hindi man siya matanggap-tanggap ng mga tao that are not yet educated about this approach to nutrition. Pero you know now na this is actually how we eat by evolution. Ibig sabihin, okay? Ibig sabihin na yung ating nakasanayan ng ating genetics hindi yung nakasanayan ng lolo mo lang o ng mami mo lang o ng tito mo lang. But nakasanayan talaga na imprinted sa ating genes, imprinted sa ating DNA, okay? Is ang pagkain ng ganitong mga pagkain. Because lahat ng pagkain na nakikita nyo sa bottom, large bulk of bottom nito, is just a byproduct of agricultural revolution. So, yung agricultural revolution, sige, mag spot check tayo sa mga masterclass. Nakatatlong ulit na kayo ha, so baka sabihin nyo kung hindi nyo pa memorize, GG. If we are to, ito yung exam natin ngayon, if we are to lump our experiences as humans, no, na yung last 2 million years, gagawin natin siyang 1 year na lang. Kailan tayong nagsimula kumain ng kanin? At kailan tayo nagsimula kumain ng sugar? Okay? Kailan? You have to answer that. Ay, grabe naman kapag hindi nyo pa na-answer yan. More than, I think 5 times nyo nang narinig yan. So, ang sabi dito, okay, for those who are not yet enrolled sa ating masterclass at sa ating mga exclusive live episodes sa ating books, sinasabi na kung ang buhay daw ng tao, okay, is ilump natin into 1 year. 2 million years, no? 2 million years dito and this is now. Okay? And dito is the 1 year. Para natin siya i-compress into 1 year and now. Okay? Alam nyo ba na na-disconnect. Ayaw sumagot, Coach Lee sumagot. So, ilalam natin in 1 year yung experience natin. Alam nyo ba na nagsimula pa lang tayong kumain ng grains? Ay, yesterday pa lang, kahapon pa lang. Ang taba na nga yan eh. So, only 1 day. So, if we are to reduce, no, yung experience ng genes natin as humans, no, sa 1 year, yesterday pa lang yung ating pagkain ng grains, okay? And yung pagkain naman natin ng simple sugars ay only 1 hour ago. Imagine, an hour ago pa lang, 1 oras pa lang. And true, ang galing-galing ni Virgie Obrador, maraming salamat naman at naalala mo that 1 hour ago is equivalent to 50 years. Okay? 50 years yan. Ngayon pa lang, the last 15 years tayong nasanay kumain ng simple sugars, ng fraps, ng milk tea, ng added sugars. Of course, I know that very much kasi nakatira ako, lumaki ako sa compound ng largest sugar milling company in the Philippines. Okay? Nasa harap ng bahay lang namin yan. Every day, nagsasiren yan. Alas 7 ng umaga, alas 8 ng umaga, alas 12, alas 7 ng gabi. Every day of my life nung bata pa ako, yun yung naririnig ko. And true enough and unfortunately, lahat po ng mga tito, tita, lolo, mga cousins ng papa ko, even our parents, and the closest relatives who work in that company, and hindi naman yung company talaga yung nakakapag sa kanila, naka-lead ng kanilang sakit, but it's the every time merong mga libreng ilang kilong asukal. Common in our family, pancreatic cancer, diabetes, complications of diabetes, liver cancer, liver failure, kidney failure, heart attack. Okay? So, yun po. Yung top 5 na yun yung pinakauso sa pamilya namin. Because starting from my grandfather, sa side ng papa ko, they are employed sa sugar milling company. That is largest in the Philippines nung unang panahon naging uso ito. Anyway, going back, yon hindi talaga tayo sanay na kumain nito. So, if yesterday, if kahapon pa lang tayo nakakain ng grains, ano yung pinagkakain natin ito? The whole 364 days equivalent or 363 days equivalent. Okay? Actually, ito yung nakasanayan natin. The large part of this. Okay? And this part is actually also not eaten every day. Hindi ito kinakain sa araw-araw. They are rotated in season. Okay? So, kung kakain tayo in season, okay? Yung prutas, hindi yan available every day. Okay? Hindi siya available every day. And all the more, hindi available yung mga prutas na tumutubo lang sa magiginaw na countries dito sa Pilipinas. Okay? It's just impossible. Okay? Hindi yan nakasanayan ng katawan natin. But look how we are eating fruits now. Kumakain tayo ng prutas na nasa galing sa ibang bansa na kahit pa hindi harvest season doon, ay tayo ay bumibili lang dito at pinagkakakain natin. Okay? So, if you want to try to heal, may nag-answer kanina, all of these food is giving the signal in our body that we are at all time harvest season. Okay? Para tayong naka-harvest season. Okay? So, kung gusto natin gumaling, kailangan ma-experience muna ng ating katawan ang non-harvest season. That's why, kahit pa allowed and natural yung certain fruits sa diet ng tao, ay kung gusto mong gumaling muna, ay kalimutan mo muna ito. Temporarily, okay? Temporarily. Hindi naman natin sinasabi hindi ka nakakain ng prutas, no? Especially kung meron kang ektaryang libreng pananim ng mga fruits and vegetables, okay? So, temporary lang. Hold muna dito and you can actually focus more on this. Just vegetables and meat, okay? And with meat, so, since nandito na tayo, parang lalaki na siya, so, pwede natin siyang palakihin. Your oil and cheese and dairies are also very good sources of proteins and, of course, no, proteins and healthy fats. It's just that, hindi nilalagay natin yan sa caution list, okay? Kasi, yung cheese and dairies po, especially dito sa Pilipinas, unfortunately, not the good quality. Okay? Yung malungkot is yung mga available sa atin dito are highly processed and highly induced with too much sugar. Sobrang taas. Aside from the natural lactose na nandyan na sa mga cheese and dairies, nilalagyan pa ito ng added sugar. Kasi yung Pinoy, yung panlasang Pinoy, ay sobrang mahilig sa matatamis. Okay? Sa matatamis. And that is where the problem lies. Eto, kaya tayo nagkakasakit. In simpler words, no? This is the insulin spiking food pyramid kung bakit tayo nagkakasakit ngayon. Because it is too much carbohydrates, okay? Too little proteins, and too little good fats. Why am I emphasizing on the good fats? Kasi ngayon, yung ginagawa is we are being bombarded with bad fats. So, yung mga hydrogenated oil. Alam nyo ba na whenever you take margarine, whenever you take shortening at yung mga hydrogenated oils na yon, sa research nakikita nila na in as long as 45 days, it can be incorporated within your cells, no? Magiging part siya ng cells mo, ng cell wall mo. And when that happens, you are prone to oxidation. You are prone to inflammation. Kasi konting stress lang, pwede na siyang mag-burst, pwede na siyang mag-explode. And that can occur as autoimmune disease. That can represent as allergies. That can present as many other syndromes na marami tayong pinoproblema ngayon. So, good thing, allergies can be controlled, okay? Hindi man siya ma-totally reverse, but when you know how to do it right, you will know what foods to eat, what foods to eliminate for you to avoid that, okay? Wala na yon dito si Chloe. But, sasabihin ko sa kanya, no, successful yung pagkain ko ng almond butter kasi hindi ako nag-allergy. More on, sa peanuts ako nag-allergy. But so far, ilang days na rin ako kumakain ng almond butter. Konti lang naman, tigil isang kutsara siguro. Hindi naman nangangate yung mata ko. See? Kaya ganyan. Kaya nakakapag-eyeliner tayo ngayon. Kasi sa hindi na nangangate yung mata ko. Okay? So, this is the summary. And, wala na. 5 minutes na lang tayo. 3 minutes na lang pala. So, before we end, okay? Before we end, eto na yung mga tanong. Ano yung pagkain na marami yung protein? So, simplihan lang natin. Just eat real food. Okay? Shout out especially to Sir Alan Cura. Kasi si Sir Alan Cura always yan jerf, no? Yun yung gustong-gusto niya, jerf. Just eat real food. Okay? Yun yung ibig sabihin ng jerf. Okay? Jerf, just eat real food. And kapag kinain nyo ito, more proteins, okay? Meat na fatty meat. So, if you eat chicken, you can eat the whole of chicken. Okay? Hindi kailangan alisin yung chicken skin. Kapag kumain ng pork belly, kainin lahat. Kapag kumain ng pork chop, kainin nyo yung taba. That's already enough fats for the day. Okay? But although the problem in our low carb, yung iba, no, na yung mga tumataas yung LDL, okay? Actually, you are overdoing your fats, okay? So, hindi natin iniiwasan yung fats, okay? Oh my God, tama. Adek na jerf pa. Tamang-tama yan, Coach Elise, okay? So, jerf. You're such a jerf, no? Just eat real food, okay? So, yung importante dito, you have to be mindful of your fat intake. You strive for a protein-rich food. So, how do you, say for example, how do you not avoid the fats but are not doing it? So, example would be, o-order ka ng pork belly, okay? Kung order ka ng pork belly, sabihin mo lang, order ako ng isang pork belly. Pero, kung hindi mo pina-prioritize yung protein at na-over mo yung fat, sasabihin mo, isang order nga ng pork chop or pork belly, piliin mo yung pinakamataba, ha? Okay? So, common yan. And ako, alam ko, ginagawa ko yan noon, okay? So, no. Let's prioritize proteins and let's make the fats incidental. So, for example, kapag nagluto ka na ng itlog at ginawa mo nag-scramble ka ng itlog at nagluto ka nito sa coconut oil, ay hindi mo na kailangan lagyan pa ng butter pagkatapos. Sobra-sobra na yan. O, di kaya kapag kumain ka ng salad, tapos meron ka ng drizzle of olive oil, okay? Pwede nang mamaya ka na muna or bukas ka na kumain ng avocado, okay? Or pwede naman silang sabay lahat, pero kaunti-unti lang. Or kung kumain ka ng avocado, nag-pork chop ka na, tapos meron ka pang olive oil, no? Ay pwedeng hindi ka na muna mag-egg yolk, okay? Kahit egg whites na lang muna. So, those are things that you can try to adjust. And you prioritize proteins. And don't worry, Pami, kung allergic ka sa itlog, you can still try to introduce it. Try mo muna ikunin yung nasa caution list. And eventually, after 6 months, you can start introducing your foods, no, na kung saan ka allergic. And choose organic. Kasi mas mataas yung allergic reactions ng mga tao sa mga hindi organic na food. And of course, no, kasi sa totoo lang, hindi na sila nabibilong sa jerf. Kasi hindi na sila real sa totoo lang. Kasi nga, imagine niyo yung mga manok na yan, nangingitlog whole day, a whole year round, every day nangingitlog, kahit babae silang lahat. Isang isang buong poultry farm na 400 chicken hens, nangingitlog sila lahat. Kaya walang isang lalaki, but nangingitlog sila lahat. How can you consider that as real? Okay? So, good thing, hindi lahat sensitive. Marami pa rin taong nakakain yan without any problem. So, if you have to eat, focus more on meat first, especially yung mga payat na ngayon. Unahin nyo munang kainin yung meat ninyo. At kapag nakain nyo na yan, you can proceed with your vegetables if may space pa sa tiyan nyo. Okay? And, yung sa taas natin, ito yung mga plus minus. Pwedeng nandyan, pwedeng wala dyan. Okay? So, you can have avocado, you can have other nuts and berries. Okay? So, almond yan, blueberry yan, ano to, walnut? Walnut bang? No, walnut ba to? Yeah, parang walnut yan. And strawberry. So, these are, okay, optional. Okay? Optional lang to. Huwag kayong malungkot kapag wala kayong ganyan. Okay lang naman. Mas mabuti pa rin yung bottom. So, these are optional. Okay? But this should be your regular. Ito talaga yung regular mong kinakain. Okay? Because this food pyramid, anong food pyramid ito? Kung insulin spiking yung kanina, ano, yung food pyramid na ito. So, this food pyramid actually is non-insulin spiking na food pyramid. Or, tatawagin natin siya para mas maganda siya pakinggan. Kasi we want to stay positive eh. Ayaw natin ng negative. Okay? So, insulin calming food pyramid. Nakakapagkalma ng insulin. At yun po ang importante muna nating pagdaanan if we want to heal from the insulin spiking food pyramid na nakasanayan natin. Okay, yan na. 1 hour na tayo. Maraming salamat everybody. I hope you enjoyed a little with our quick chat today. Nandyan, yun lang po muna for now. I'll see you again this Friday for another episode of What's Up Doc. And thank you so much, our dear admin, my sister-in-law, Angela Rojo. You are all invited to join our masterclass, no? So, yung mga nakikita nyo mga madadaldal dito, pwede yung mga masterclass graduates natin yan. Ewan ko lang, nauumay na siguro sila sa pabalik-balik naming kwentuhan about the hunter and gatherer at kung ano-ano pa. So, I hope you can join our little community. Baka medyo mas mabusy tayo in the coming months, but we will focus our time and of course, we will prioritize the ones in our masterclass. Meron po tayong ongoing available for enrollment anytime, diabetes, hypertension, obesity masterclass, and next week na ba? Magiging available na din yung fatty liver masterclass. And soon, marami po pong iba. Merong sa PCOS, meron sa autoimmune disease, merong sa GERD, meron sa cancers and tumors, meron para sa mga bata, okay, for the childhood obesity and insulin resistance. Meron din po, at the end of it all, meron tayo for wellness and longevity because we don't just want to live long but also to live well. Okay, so I will pray for all of you. Thank you so much for always being with me. Kahit nag-iba yung time slot natin, I'm happy that you are here with me. And I'll see you again this Friday for another episode of What's Up Doc. This is your Diet Doctora, Dr. Josephine Grace Chua Rojo. Always remember to stay low carb so that we will all stay safe. PM lang po, Angela Rojo or Alvin Chua Rojo for details. Maraming salamat. Hope to see you there. Bye-bye everybody. Thank you.